What it do, YouTube? We are back with another episode of Inside the Chat. As you can see, we have a special guest that's back on the show. Shout out to Bree Trudell making another appearance on the show. Obviously, a shout out to my boy KB and Nick for always holding it down over there to the left side of my screen. But today's gonna be a very good day with a lot of good topics. We're gonna touch on a lot of the stuff when it comes to sports and your kids and how you're gonna raise them and all that type of stuff, your passions, how to grow your audience and everything like that when it comes to podcasts and everything like that. So we're gonna get it started now and get into it, and then let's go. So KB, start us off.
Okay, so Bree, what makes you passionate and what gets you motivated in life nowadays?
Just passionate all across the board, or
all across the board. Or podcast. Actually, no. Put an emphasis on the podcasting. So get you passionate about podcasting, get you motivated to do it, and keep on doing it.
I mean, I think when I first started it and it grew into wanting to get it on streaming services and platforms, it was just because I felt like I had a gift kind of as far as speaking with people and putting things into words that people understand, and it was really helping people. So I always wanted to be in a position to help people in whatever that might be. And just as the episodes started going, I'm a big spiritual person, so I really feel like it's kind of a platform that God blessed me with to have to speak to other people to help them in a lot of different scenarios. Because I mean, we're only in season 1, season 2 is coming in the spring, but it's full of like loaded like self-work. Yeah. Like it's not just this light stuff. It's very heavy, but I've had so many people reach out that it's helped so many different people in like these very deep ways, and it's just very fulfilling. And I think when something's given to you where you're serving God in some type of way, it's the most fulfilling thing you can do. And it's something I feel like, he blessed me with to have to do it for that purpose. So it's just, I feel like it's a part of my purpose and it's aligning with it. So that's really where the passion comes from. And the motivation is, I don't even look at it as work. I mean, you guys know, like recording and then having to redo and edit, it's a process, but yeah. I enjoy it because when the whole piece comes together, it's just fulfilling. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't have to have feedback because I do it just for the fulfilling purpose of it. But when you get the feedback and it's really helping people, even if it's just one person, it's so motivating, So I guess for me in life and with podcasting, just if I know I'm doing something where it's helping others, it's contributing and it's serving God in some type of purpose and it's aligning with mine, it's just fulfilling. So
is there a certain mode you got to be in or a mindset, or can you just sit down and do it? Because I kind of have to be focused, or I'll just kind of say anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I have a whole little moment that I do. Yeah, it's a process. I mean,
is it like a ritual?
No.
Light a candle, some incense.
It's not a ritual. Chilling. It's not a ritual, but it's like, I'm just like you. Like I have those days where mentally I'm just not there. So I've had multiple days where I planned on recording and didn't do it that day. But for me, I always try to start it earlier than later. That way, if I feel that way, I have some days to like, be flexible, and I have to be in that mindset to do it. So I've had moments where I came home from work and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it at 7. 7 comes around. I'm just not mentally there. So I took a nap, woke up at 11 and was recording till 3 a.m. Like it just, for me, I flow with how I feel because I have to mentally be there. So I have this whole process where like I sage and I do light candles and I do, what else do? I play some music and just relax. Like I'm a really big peaceful person. And then leading up to the day I usually record, I read my notes a lot and kind of mentally get on that topic because there's so many things that go through my mind. Like there's so much content that always goes through my head that I have to like go back pages to realize like, okay, what am I even talking about today? Because I just write so many things down. So days leading up to it, I'm like making sure that I'm on that topic and I'm focused on it. And then even more things flow through because I usually write down content months beforehand and then come back to it. And there'll be new things that I'll add to it that just kind of come off the dome when you're recording. So that's pretty much that, though. It's a process. I have to be in the right mental space because if you're not, I've had what is it? Verbal block? It's not writer's block. It's like verbal block where I'll start talking and I'm like, there's been moments where I literally put my headphones down, turn the computer off. I'm like, it's not working. Like it wasn't flowing. So I would just come back the next day, but I would be refreshed and I would just go from there. So for me, a big thing is I never expected myself to be perfect in this. Like if you listen to the first episode until the end, it's just this, you can tell how much better I got with everything. And I love that. I didn't want to go back and change anything because I can years later go back and say, oh my gosh, look at the baby.
the beginning.
Look at the growth you had.
So it's just progressing and I love seeing the growth. So it is a process though. I wouldn't say that I'm on it, ready to go every single time, but it gets there. It gets done.
I know that's one thing that like that's what I like. We're having a moment now, like when we were just talking about right before this started, where we're trying to find our like true identity, whether that's literally being to where we talk about everything, or having it to where we be a little bit more cautious on exactly when we're putting stuff out. Because right now it's kind of like we got like 4 in the book right now, and we can kind of put it out whatever, but the editing process, you know how that goes and all that type of stuff. So trying to master like your identity and knowing exactly what type of audience you want to reach out, but then realizing that we like talking about everything. Like that's the hard part about it, is that like we understand that we got an audience a little bit when it comes to the relationship stuff, but then we also know we got an audience when it comes to the sports side. And then we just did a podcast yesterday where we talked for like an hour about like mental health when it comes to like, you know, sports and traveling and, you know, travel ball, you know, all that type
Eating
of stuff.
right and all that.
Yeah, eating right and everything. And that's a completely different topic than what we normally talk about. But it's so interesting.
I think that although you say it's hard, I think that that's awesome because it's kind of like you're following maybe all over the place, but people can always know, like they were to go on, you know, because you post these on YouTube, don't you?
Yeah.
So they can always go on there and like know, like, oh, did they talk about this at all? Let me go see if they talked about this. Just you never know what kind of following you have that really genuinely wants to know what you have to say about the craziest, randomest things. So when you have a podcast where you're talking about different stuff, it just opens that up to gain even more followers because they just genuinely, like, people want to know about really random things. So it's kind of like, for me, I have like a path that I'm on, but it doesn't always just talk about one thing. There's so many depths to it, but I do have a certain avenue. With you guys, it's like everything, but I really enjoy, you know, podcasts and pages that do that. So that's cool.
I like how we're not in a box neither. Like we're not just one or two things. We could expand and talk about everything. Because
that is one thing I
got
did
boring
add
after.
too.
We on what, like, I think this is episode 20, isn't it, Gary?
It's up there.
20 overall.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
And
but
I know
I'm just
I
glad
created
we're
it
not just
on
in a box.
Yeah, on YouTube, I created like playlists now to where like when you do go to our page, whatever, you see like, you know, the sports playlist. So you see all the times we talked about sports, and you got the relationship playlist, and you got the trending topic playlist, whatever. So when we talked about the Calvin Rittenhouse type thing and like what was like hot at the moment type stuff. So I think that's definitely a work we're working towards in the right direction. But like I said, I think we're all gonna meet pretty soon here and kind of like just go over a lot more, like, you know, tuning up things, whatever. So because now it's getting to the point where the biggest thing that I like is that when people reach out to me and like what you said, getting that feedback, but then they have like constructive criticism, like too, like they're letting us know, like when we were talking with Matt Hall, like he was letting me know, like when it comes to the intro, like that's what we were just talking about, like having a more consistent intro. And now it's intro, outro, and knowing exactly, because I can just easily put our intro music on it, whatever, or the video that we have. But actually having a better structure to how we do these things, whatever, is like kind of what we are now trying to tune into.
Which I like, you know, we were talking before, like I like where you're going with it. I will say having a consistent intro is catchy and people just start to say it a lot and it makes them want to watch. It's just the little things that you add, and it's just the consistency where it gets people to listen to. So I would agree with that.
I'm excited because now we got to get to the point where we're on your level to where you got it like on audio, like, because we got to get it on Apple and Spotify and all that type of stuff, because so many people hit us with, oh, I ain't got no Gmail account or something like that, or they'll click on the link and then they got to sign into their Gmail to get into YouTube. And it's like we got to be more to the point where we are getting, you know, realizing that people don't always like to just watch a podcast; they like to listen. That's the main point of a podcast, is listening.
That's
You know,
me. I'll turn on a video, but and people like when I have friends around me, they're like, putting the phone in front of me. I'm like, I don't care to watch. Like, I just want to listen.
Listen,
And I think that's what led me to do mine, where I'm like, I'm not adding video until later because I'm like, I want people to hear me, like listen to what I'm saying. But it's also very deep stuff too, where it's like I don't want to sit and be recording myself for an hour and a half. No, but yeah, I would say getting on streaming services is good just because you have people who just, although you have the video and you would think that's like what everybody wants, people do sometimes just want to listen. And the audio intro, that day I felt so official. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I had my friends help me with it, but I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing ever.
It just, what I like right now, what gets me going is like when I get random people that I don't know comment on something or like a video or something like that, or like, because I'm doing my other reaction stuff too, and when I get someone comment on there that I don't know, and they're like, "Oh my god, this was fire" or something like that, like that's what I get excited about, or getting a new subscriber on YouTube versus like anything other platforms with Twitter and all that stuff, whatever. Like that's the type of stuff I'm like, oh my goodness.
Bree, do you want to do visual or you just want to do audio the whole time?
I will be including visual. I'm actually really excited to include visual because I think just for some people who listen that don't know me, because there's quite a few people I think that listen that don't know who I am. So I think some people are just like, who is this girl? Like, so
they need a face to match up. They need a face to match up.
Yeah, I'm gonna do video, but I'm not sure if I want to do one more season and then start to include video, or if I may, once I get into season 2, start to incorporate it midway through season 2 and just get it to where I'm able to still stream the audio part of it, but do the video at the same time. So I have to figure that out, but I am going to be including it.
Yeah, it's a whole nother process when it comes to doing both, because you can, like on here with us, like when we download this from this site, whatever, like we get an audio and a video, like we get both. So if you want it, like that's why I'm saying we need to get our stuff on Spotify, because like we can put it on there and it's just a lot easier, but it's a different process, especially with the editing stuff. And
Facts.
I believe that.
Yeah. So other than podcast stuff, what gets you going and passion? What are you passionate about? Like what gets you going throughout the day? Like what keeps you motivated to not only, like, obviously with podcast stuff, is it just the spiritual side of you that keeps you going, or what?
Yeah, I know that's probably not like the most entertaining answer, but like
it's all right.
It is. I mean, I start my mornings early and I pray, and I don't know, I just am always in like a state of gratitude about everything and just very peaceful. So I'm just thankful to be here and to be alive and to be very blessed. So I don't know. When you're like grateful for everything, there's no reason to not be motivated, I guess. Like, plus I have so much that I want to do, and I know that I was set out to do a lot. So I don't know. Every day I kind of like treat it as a new day and new opportunities. And I just kind of don't let myself get caught up in just the system of the world where it's like, wake up, go to work, come home, eat, lay down, scroll through my phone, go to bed. Like, no,
you feel like a robot after a while.
Yeah. And I'm not about that. That's so draining and depressing. And I get how you can get caught up in it. But for me, like, no, I snapped myself out of that a long time ago. So I kind of treat every day like a new day. And most times it doesn't mean that I'm out here doing all this stuff. It's just everything that I do, I just enjoy it. Like if I'm working from home or something, like I'm playing music, I'm vibing out, or if I'm going to the gym, like I don't know, like I just have this really grateful perspective and attitude towards everything. And it really does change how you view your life and what you do. So that's where like all my passion and motivation comes from. But I will say I've always been one of those people that I won't do something if I'm not passionate about it. Like if I don't really care, I'm not going to do it, because I'm not going to put my all into it. And I don't believe in that. Like I don't think you should do anything if you're not going to put your all into it.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't do things I'm not passionate about. But
so you played basketball in college, right? When was the last time you hit the gym? Do you still go to the gym?
Not gonna lie, after I got sick last year, I had COVID. I've had COVID like 3 times. So the first time was in
goddamn spokesperson.
Yeah. When was the first time? The first time was last year in March, about a year ago almost, towards the end of March. And I was going very heavily. Like I've always been a really big gym person, but that knocked me all the way down. And I didn't really start to build my strength back up until the fall, but I still didn't have a lot of energy. So I'm not going to lie, I'm just now getting back into the gym. But because I've always worked out so much, my body kind of snaps back to the workouts. Like obviously you're sore, but I'm not in there like lifting
50,000
5
pounds.
pounds and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my body is able to kind of snap back to where I used to be, other than just building up the endurance again. So nothing that I'm really worried about, but I did miss working out. It's just I knew not to push my body too much. So yeah.
How do you get out of slumps? Do you because for example, I just started back the little 75 hard thing, right? And literally, I've had my day to day schedule hour by hour set up. I'm supposed to get up at 6 a.m. every day to do my first workout. And when I
Okay.
say I woke up for the last 3 days and I hit the snooze button all 3 days, I still been doing the workout, but like, I don't like when I say I feel like it's like, I don't know, this time around seems a little harder than the first time, but like motivation wise, like just having that motivation to just say, I gotta get it done. Like, have you had moments in life to where like you have been like trying to motivate yourself, but like the overall energy isn't there, but you still got to motivate yourself? Like, how do you get past that? If you get what I'm asking.
Yeah. I definitely never used to be a morning person. I'm just now a newly found morning person. But when I wasn't, I would do the same thing. Like I would tell myself I'm getting up at 6 to go run. That never happened. Ever. Because I'm just not, I love to sleep. So I
Same.
guess when I have those moments where after a few days, and it's crazy that you're asking me this because just a few days ago, like I had this self moment where I was like, when you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. So, like, don't ever become this person. And I was realizing not to do that with other people, but what really hit me was like, don't do that to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it because then that's going to translate to everybody else. Like, every time you tell them you're going to do something, you either don't do it or it's late or it's hours later. You start to get into this trend of not sticking to what you say you're going to do. And I'm like, do you really want to be that kind of person? Do you want people to stop really like listening to you because they know, she doesn't really mean that, or he ain't really probably gonna come. I don't want to be that person. And I'm like, it's just a self-awareness thing where I think about certain things a little deeper than most people do. So when stuff like that happens, like I guess my question to you would be, if it's hard for you to get up in the morning, what time did you go to bed?
Exactly.
Because you also have to listen to your body. If you didn't go to bed till 1 a.m., you're not getting up at
You're
6
not
a.m.
getting up at 6.
Yeah.
You're not getting up at 6 a.m. So set yourself up to, and if it really matters that much to you, like set yourself up to be successful and go to bed earlier. If you can't go to bed earlier, then just be more realistic to know I'm not going to get up at 6, but I will work out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that way you're being realistic, you're adjusting, but you are having that overall picture of I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And not wanting to be this person who just is saying things to myself and to other people, but I don't really mean it. Like, or you don't follow through, or you're not consistent.
So I find myself being more consistent with other people instead of like myself.
And
Like,
it starts with you. Everything with your whole life is supposed to start with you.
Yeah. And I'll tell somebody else like, oh, I'll be there, and I'll actually be there when it comes to something else. But like I said, for myself, I'll be, I got to get up at 6 a.m. the next morning, whatever. Second it comes around, nope. And it sucks because like with my schedule now, I do have time. So like I'm deciding to get up at 6. Like I try, at least try, whatever. But I don't have to do anything for work until 10 o'clock or 9. So like I can honestly wait till 8 to do it. But I'm like, let me go at 6 every morning, whatever, start this routine. And I started good on the first 3 days. And then that 4th day came around, a little sore, didn't get enough sleep. I'm like, I
will tell you, if you do not get enough sleep, all your days are going to pretty much be out of whack. Yeah. Sleep is what drives, like good sleep too, not just being sleep, but good sleep is kind of what drives your day. So I would really start to make your sleep and getting good sleep a priority. But I guess in that, like I get, putting a time limit on it, but also know that if
you take melatonin,
I do. I take
very
little every night, but I do because I
need to do that.
never really was that person who was able to hit like their REM sleep, and I never really knew why, but I always felt so tired. And now I get the best sleep ever. It's amazing.
Did you put yourself on melatonin or did the doctor? Because I went to the doctor about my sleep and he put me on it. But after a few months, I had to flush it because I felt like mentally I couldn't sleep unless I took literally like 3, 4 pills, which
Hmm.
was way too much.
Hey, you
Yeah,
good?
that's a lot. I
I
have like
couldn't sleep. I would be up till 3, 4 in the morning and be at work.
It was them. They're
That's better.
dead. Just
yeah. I mean, with anything too, like I don't take them all the time. Like I'll have a couple days every so often where I don't, because I don't want my body to become dependent on it, and I still go to sleep. But I just take the little gummies, like the little
Yeah.
what is it called, extra sleep or something. I'll send you a picture, but I just take one. I take very little,
Yeah.
but it just helps to hit that REM sleep, and you feel completely different. But
See, I get annoyed with that because what I've been told is that like, well, what's worked for me a little bit is when I actually do work out and do my workouts, and like, I'm actually tired at the end of the day, so it's
Mhm.
okay for me to fall asleep. But that fall asleep happens around 7 o'clock when I'm like super tired. And now I know if I take a nap right there, you setting yourself up for failure because I'm gonna wake up at 10 or 11, and now I'm gonna be up to like 3, and
but
now I gotta.
why
What's that?
don't I mean? Do you have other things you have to do after 7 o'clock?
Sometimes that can be editing videos or doing other stuff. I could, but
Okay. I
sometimes
was
like
gonna
when it,
say
yeah,
sometimes going to bed earlier, you're gonna get up earlier,
true.
and
But see,
so
I don't sleep all the way through the night. I'll wake up at like 12, and when it comes to that, and now it's like I know for a fact if I try to stay, I can't just stay up that whole time, whatever. But like that's when I'm running into that problem now. Like when it comes to like me and my mental health and like trying to be, because I know sleep helps with losing weight and all that type of stuff. It helps with everything. But when it comes to me getting tired, it's at wrong times during the day or
yeah,
something like that. And I guess it's just because my sleeping habit is just out of whack right now because I'm just now starting it, whatever. But I don't know. It's just I feel like this is just something that a lot of people like struggle with is trying to actually go to sleep, like especially with social media and everything like that, like and staying off your phone.
these
Yeah.
things is why people can't go to sleep. Phones and TVs. And I mean, for me, I'm like kind of like I feel like I tell people in like this mom tone, even though I'm not a mom. It's just like you really want to get the best sleep. You're the only reason why you're not. So like turn your TV off and stop scrolling through your phone and just give yourself an hour without both and just lay in the bed and just relax. Like you have to turn your mind off. And we're so programmed to just be scrolling or have to watch something until we fall asleep, but that's so not healthy. Like coming from somebody who used to do that and now does the complete opposite, like you would be surprised how much better you function and how much better you're able to wake up and just want to do all these things in the morning if you get good sleep. But like you're the person in the way of it. It ain't the phone's fault. You the one holding it. It
True.
ain't the TV's fault. You
Do
the one
you
turning it on.
do you use those like on YouTube you look up like rain or so I do that.
White
Yeah,
noise.
white noise or rain or something like that.
I have a sound machine, so I use that,
A
and
sound
it's just
machine.
like it's
Is
a
that like
sound
white
machine. It's
noise
actually
like
for
that?
babies, but I use it
Oh, I
in
think I
the
seen one
baby
of those.
section. But it's like a white noise machine. It's just not electronic. Cause them Alexa things, I have one in my living room, but I don't like her because I feel like she'd be listening. But
Listening too hard. Yeah.
a little bit, so I don't like her
Wait,
in
what
my.
did you say?
But I have a white noise machine that I use. But I used to use this YouTube video that was thunderstorm sounds, I think, but it was
Yeah.
a dark screen. That way I wasn't having the light,
Yeah.
and that helps. It does help. I
I
would,
just I turn my phone like this upside down all the time, so I can't see shit.
yes.
Like if I'm doing anything, I don't want to see it.
Do you guys do yoga?
Yeah,
No,
I do.
I want to get into it.
I want to start.
I
It's
Boy,
do, but
I'm
some of
not
the
flexible.
positions,
It's
yoga for
hard.
beginners is not yoga for beginners. Like I be struggling.
Hey, yoga is hard. Hey, I'll be doing downward like I was doing it the other day, and I'm doing downward dog, which is just the basic one. And then they had me in the warrior 2 joint with my arms like this. When I say my shoulders was like
Shoulders hurt.
I could,
I
and
do
it's
want to
just me.
try
Oh,
hot
it's
And
yoga.
look,
quivering and
and it's just me holding it up. It ain't even me like doing anything. I'm not holding myself up or nothing. I'm just holding that up, and I'm like, oh
Yoga
my
is a
goodness,
workout.
it's a straight workout. And
I
but
got turned off from it from Olivet. So
yeah, it damn near make it
I
to
want
where
to
you're.
try hot yoga next. I
I
feel like
haven't
I'm
did
good enough for that regular, but they said you can't breathe in there. It's too hot. It's too
probably
hot.
I would
I
not
do
be trying hot yoga.
it's really good for your body.
Yeah.
Like
If I don't hit the gym, I'll do yoga for a little bit, or even just sit there, legs crossed, and just meditate a little bit. Something.
I need to get back into meditation too.
Yeah, Bree, what's your next goal? Like, what's your next goal? When it came, you can either touch on when it comes to the podcast world or come to your personal world, like
I mean, I guess podcast wise is just getting season 2 going, which is coming in the spring. I took time off just to reflect on season 1 and to let people have some time to listen to it and go back and listen, because people are hard headed and stubborn and they need to listen to it again and again and again and again. But I guess just to get that started, and I'll be having guests in season 2. So new additions, probably adding the video.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know if that's a goal really. It's just something that's happening.
Yeah. You can look
really,
at that as goal, short term.
yeah. Really, I guess my overall goal always is I don't really recognize the new year until the spring. So like I don't really see it being a new year until like March 20th, just because I kind of go with nature. So when we have a new
Spring
year,
kinda
it's
hits.
instead of the winter when you're supposed to be resting. But then when the spring comes, like, things in nature start to grow, the animals come back out, everything's happening, and we're supposed to be grounded in nature. So I start my new year there. And so I'll be in Florida around that time because it's my birthday, and I'm going to be reflecting on the whole year. And like my overall goal always is every year to become a better version of myself and to keep evolving and growing. And I like to look back and to see how far I've grown. Like this whole past year, I've grown the most I ever have into an entirely different person. So just always elevating and growing and evolving in everything that I do. So that's just an overall consistent goal every single year that doesn't change. But
What about you, KB?
Man, let me tell you something. My goal is to move out. That's my goal right now. It's a short term / long term. Moving out soon. And then I'm gonna be on my own. Me and my brother, we're gonna be chilling. Long term goal, just try to like not settle down, but find somebody who I can just vibe with and be just chill around. Like I feel like that's the next step. Like I kind of want some little ones running around. Not before I get too old, you know what I mean? So I think around the time I need to start looking right around now and then settle down a couple of years in the future. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
Shit, I'm glad you said that. Let's just get into the next topic, man. Let's just get in the next topic. Are you gonna make your kids play sports or push them into sports?
100%.
I'm not gonna look, man.
Why 100%?
I'm not gonna push my kids into sports. If they want to do sports, cool, fine. I'm not gonna push you in a direction of a sport. You pick what sport. If you want to be the best golfer you want to be, cool. I'm with it 100%. Go ahead. I'm not pushing my kids that way because I just don't feel like it's right. One, and two, it hurts their personal development as a person, as a whole human being. Like I want them to have the full experience of life rather than just a programmed get these jumpers in, get this work in, and then go here, get this shake, do this, and that, and then you can go home and relax or play the video game and do whatever you want with your friends. If you want to just be a straight up bookworm and get a law degree, you can do that. That's fine. I don't have to have no sports. But just I'm not forcing my kids to do that. Like that's
Hold on, I'm gonna kind of take the approach my mom took. She didn't care what we did, just be so safe, healthy, and happy.
There you go.
So if we were those three, she didn't care. But when we were younger, she had us in basketball, football, soccer, tennis, all that, until we were able to make our own decisions.
Nick, you was playing tennis?
I played tennis. Me and Nate, we were the best at the team. No, we really did. But until like when you're younger, all my friends growing up, I met during sports. So I don't think I would have. I wouldn't have known y'all if it wasn't for football. So. Until they middle school, high school, and you tell me that I don't want to play sports, I'm kind of gonna have you in it. And for the exercise part, I don't want kids just be sitting there playing the game and now they obese at the age of 6, 7 because now you playing catch up just to get your body right.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like where I grew up in Chicago, like having sports is what keeps people out of the streets,
out of trouble.
Keep people out of trouble. Especially when I moved to around Gary, Indiana, like I had football practice at every day at every school day, whatever. But and then
Gary
I was
tough.
And like by the time I got done with school, practice, all of that, I'm tired. So it ain't like I'm going outside and running around. You do have those people that do those things still, like is involved with the football team and still do all that gang stuff, whatever, like that, whatever. But in general, like I feel like when it comes to sports, everyone always thinks about like football or basketball or something like that. There's millions of sports. Like
Mhm.
there's so many different types of sports. I like sports when it comes to just the competitiveness, what it teaches every single person at a young age. Like if you have a son or a daughter, or whatever, that wants to do wrestling, that wrestling teaches them so much more than you can try to teach them in certain situations. Like you can use wrestling to teach them almost everything they need to know when it comes to growing up wise. You know what I'm saying? Like certain aspects in life. Same thing if they wanted to do golf, whatever. But I think trying to get them into organizational sports too, like now you're building communication skills. You're I just don't like the participation type points that sometimes like you get into. Like you feel like you
Everybody is
deserve
a
to play.
winner.
Yeah, like everyone's a
That's not
winner,
how
like
it is
that,
in
whatever.
Nobody
football.
lost. No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
but I like the aspect of being like learning how to be a good teammate, learning that if you're a leader off the rip or you're not, if you're good or not. If you suck at basketball, son, we're not gonna play basketball because I sucked at basketball too, and we gonna move on to another sport.
Yeah,
But
that's getting
we
passed
gonna
on to
look,
the kid.
but we gonna try. And if you got a jumper at a young age, whatever, trust me, you're gonna like the ball going through the hoop. It ain't and if you get to that point to where you just don't like it, then maybe it's a little bit of both to where you really don't like it, or am I pushing you too hard?
Yeah,
Because
because
I
you
know
can
I'm
push your kids
yeah,
way too hard that they just hate the
exactly.
game.
Hate the
Also,
sport.
it now it ruins the relationship with you,
Exactly. So that's something
and
that
that's
I
the
think,
worst thing to happen.
yeah, I think I'm gonna eventually, honestly, I know I'm gonna try to push my kid because when it came to like how my dad was, like, I feel like he had moments where he pushed me hard, but I wish like how he just was with my little brother music career, like he pushed him a lot, and my little brother kind of resented that, didn't like being pushed so much. But for me, I'd have loved that, when it came to that. Like, but he was really busy working a lot when I was doing football and everything like that. So, but I would love to be pushed as much as I like as much as he was pushing my little brother. But I think I'm gonna have a moment like that, and I know I'm going into it now already knowing, but I'm gonna try to like push him. But then I know I'm gonna have a resent moment, like I don't want to do the. Is it you that want me to be doing this, or this is what I like type thing? I already know
That's
that's
the
gonna
movie
happen,
scene. That's the
and
movies.
exactly. And I since I already know that that's kind of gonna happen, whatever. I think the way I'm gonna try to attack it is like I'm gonna take a step back and let you do what you want to do, but just know I'm gonna support anything you want to do. I just don't want you to think that I'm trying to have you live up to some fame that I didn't reach or nothing. Like
I
I
was
don't
just
really
about to
think that.
say I
This
don't
is
want
your
to.
dream.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to push you too hard. Where it's now it's I want you to get somewhere because I didn't get there. Like
yeah.
it's still your life. If you want to play
If you
video
want to
games,
play
because they make a
Quidditch,
lot of money doing that
yeah.
now too.
If you want to play Quidditch or chess, be the best chess player ever. I don't care. But I'm gonna push you honestly in anything that you do, and I'm gonna hold you accountable and everything. But like that's the thing about team sports too. I don't have to hold you accountable every time. You got a whole team that you got to worry about. But when it comes to individual stuff, it's up to you holding your own self accountable and someone to push you and like hold you accountable when you're having certain type of days. But that's what we talked about yesterday too, Nick, with the podcast, the mental side of everything. When you're not prepared to like you're so drained mentally. Now, instead of us working out today, son, let's go on a walk. Let's go talk.
Yeah.
Take our mind off of the sport and let's just go talk about something else, whatever. And see, and that's I don't know. I'm writing all that stuff down for the later, but because I'm at the age where I'm thinking about kids and everything, and I'm getting
But I
old.
think it's a different with the
Over
dad side of it that we really want to live our life. We want the son that's in the league. I know I kind of want my not baby mama but wife to have an athletic background.
Why you was gonna say baby mama?
I don't know why I was going to say baby mama, but I want my significant other to have
Have
an
some type of
athletic
athletic.
background
Yeah.
and kind of not be too short because I don't want to be watching my kid play soccer though. To be honest, like
Nick, come on,
you
man.
know what I'm saying.
You tall
Like that stuff
anyways.
matters though.
Nick, how you gonna meet somebody your height? That's rare, man. You in the wrong. First of all, you in the wrong spot anyway.
She be 5'9". That's still cool.
Okay, but that's the limit.
Yeah.
He said, "I plead the fifth."
How about you, Bree?
No, I'm not gonna force them to play sports. I'm not gonna actually, in that context of things, I want them to be who they are. So I think, and I want to have kids soon too, but I think that, a job as a parent is like, say your child is like a flower. You plant the seed. You're supposed to be like that watering can like in that soil, giving them the environment to become who they're supposed to be, because they're their own person. And I think some parents forget that's not, that is your son, that is your daughter, but they're still their own person. They're not you. And so it's like, I want you to be the best version of yourself, whatever that means. And I'm just here to give you the
Nope.
environment and the nourishment that you need and the nurturing to be that. I know though that, right, a lot of us come from, not saying you guys, but just people in general come from homes that there wasn't two parents there. There wasn't this balance. There wasn't this overwhelming nurturing going on to where you were getting a lot of what you get in sports from your house. So there's a reason why a lot of us learned what we did from sports, because unfortunately, like, and it's no shade, but our parents weren't there teaching us that and weren't giving us that. Like sometimes I ask people when they are forcing their kids to be in sports, why? Like, why, where does it come from? And some people will say, well, the discipline. I said, well, why aren't they learning discipline at home?
Okay.
Okay, well, I want them to learn how to like listen to other people. Okay, why don't they learn that from you? Like, you know what I mean? Like
You ain't gotta
sometimes
come at me like that.
no,
Damn.
no, I'm just, it's just a different perspective,
No, no, I'm
It's
talking
just
to you,
something to
yeah.
think about. And it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes I ask those questions, like just getting people to be more mindful about why. If you have great reasons, like you want them to learn how to work together with people and teamwork, I totally get that, because if they're just they don't have siblings, I get that. You want them to learn how to work with other people their age.
Okay, we go.
And you want them to learn different things. Like with wrestling, you said, you learn things how to like do different moves, protect yourself. That's certain things I wouldn't be able to teach my daughter or my son. Like,
Yeah.
so just asking the whys behind why you're pushing them to do that. Make sure that it's for the betterment of them and it's not just something that you want, or it's the lack of what you're doing. So for me, it's like me and my partner will always raise our kids to where health in all aspects, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, is what's taught. Is we're always going to have that healthy home, that healthy mindset, exercise in general, and just eating clean and having a clean diet, and exercising in some capacity, at least going for walks, being out in nature, like that stuff will be a part of our home anyway. But if you want to embark on sports, if you want to try those things, then go for it. Like I will always encourage it, but the foundation of everything will come from my home.
Mhm.
Do you
So
think they can make that decision at a super young age?
as far as being in sports,
Or, yeah, in sports or not wanting to play?
I think we don't always give credit to some kids. I think we should give them a little bit more, that kids kind of know sometimes on a
Yeah.
child mindset level what they want to do.
Mhm.
You'll see kids who are like 2, 3, and 4 picking up a basketball or picking up a football and really enjoying it. Like you just have to pay attention. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't think it's wrong that when they're younger and you see them doing those things, putting them in it to see if they like it. And then it's a trial and error. Like there's no manual on how to be a parent. That's something I've heard from everyone. Like you're going to make mistakes. It's going to be trial and error. So I don't think anything's wrong with like putting them in different things to see what they like, but just never get into a habit of like you're making them. Like if you put your son in basketball because you've seen him picking one up a lot, but he just ends up not liking it, then let him be done with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Well, now, what would you? Is there anything you would force them into?
Exercise. Get your ass up.
no, just other than we're going to be healthy. Like as far as just
Mentally and physically?
mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, like we're going to be healthy. We're going to know how to talk to each other, communicate. I think I see these videos a lot and I love them, where these little boys are getting so upset and they want to like punch something, but then the moms get there and they talk through it, like what's wrong, like talk me through, let's go for a walk, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like being healthy in all different aspects, that I think that boat was missed with a lot of this generation, and even ours. Like the boat was missed, and like we learned that later through like traumatic events and like toxic relationships. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid that, you know what I mean? So just healthy all across the board, like the way we eat, the way we make sure every couple of days we're going for walks, we're going for runs, like exercising not to be physically fit and have a six pack, but because it's healthy. Like it's good to get your body moving. It's good to be outdoors. It's good to get fresh air. It's good to be healthy in all aspects, not just for the looks or just to say you're doing it. Mind you, as they get older, like they're still their own people.
Yeah.
So you can raise a kid all you want to, but if they choose to rebel and do something different, I did my best by you, and this is not how you were raised. So I can only say so much at a certain point.
Yeah.
But I can't always say that. Parents can always say that. in this generation.
That's a mom's favorite line. Like, I didn't raise you like this.
I
Like,
mean,
it's-
because that right there goes to show you though that kids are their own people. They're not you. And you can give somebody everything in the environment and all of it, and they still choose to be different. You know, in this world too, you raise your kids, they get put out into the world and they are learning other things too, and they're around different people. So you just never know. All you can do is be a good parent.
I messed with that. All right, I got a couple last questions.
Yeah, I had some quick hitters real
Yeah.
quick. Just some real quick ones. Summer or winter? Bree. Morning or night?
Morning.
Money or fame?
Neither? That's tough.
Next travel spot?
I'm going to Florida, but
Okay. What shoe do you want but you can't get your hands on?
the freaking what are they? The Wave Runners. I
You
can't.
just hit
But
the
like,
other day
I
too,
can get almost every shoe, but I can't get them. And you know
Cats
what?
or dogs?
I don't even care anymore. But
Cats or dogs?
definitely dogs.
Dog, yeah.
Marvel or DC?
I'm not really like that in tune with either one to the point where I could just sit here and make a really great choice. But Marvel,
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. And call or text?
definitely call. I get tired of texting. I'm an audio message person.
I noticed
send
that.
audio messages all the time. I can't.
That's all I had. Is it a regular phone call or is it a FaceTime?
I just, I'm starting to grow out of the FaceTime, but I don't mind it. It's just sometimes I'm just in a position where like I can move and talk to you, but I can't sit here and look at you. So you might as well just call me.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, especially like if I haven't seen your face in a long time. I don't mind the FaceTime, but if you can just regular call me, I prefer that depending on the time of the day. Like if you know it's like during a weekday and I'm probably at work, just call me.
Yeah,
But
I think it depends on who you are too, because I'm not answering a regular FaceTime.
I
I'm
guess
just
for
gonna
me,
put you on pause anyway.
I'm only answering it that way because I only talk to a handful of people. So anybody else, if you were firing off a random FaceTime, like I don't know what you thought was going to happen on the other end of the phone.
You gotta schedule a FaceTime.
Conversation.
Yeah, no.
That's all I had.
All right. You got anything, KB?
I can't think of that right now.
No, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
Hey,
Thank
that's
you.
season 2, bro. That's the end of
That's
season 2.
that's basically season 2 right there.
This is wrapping up season 2.
Yeah.
Well, when we crunch the numbers a little bit, like we got, I think the last one just came out was episode 5, and we got, like I said, we already have 4, and then this is the 5th one. So I think this is 20. Whatever one is the 25th, and not 25th, the 20th episode.
20th episode.
Whether that's this one or the next one that we do after this, whatever. But at the end of the day, we did want to have you probably on the last one or the second to last one anyway. So we want to invite you back for that because of what you've done in general with us the first couple times, whatever. So we appreciate that. But
I think you were our first guest.
Yeah.
Was I really?
Yeah.
Oh.
First guest.
But we appreciate you coming in. We appreciate everybody that's been, tuning in, listening right now. This has been a journey so far. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna meet a little bit more and go over to tune in some couple things, whatever, to make sure that we can be a lot more efficient in knowing what time we're gonna put out things, whether that's the sports side or the relationship side or trending side. Season 3, we're gonna hope to. I don't want to say we're gonna hope. We're gonna come out with more the audio versions of these podcasts, so that way you can listen to them on Apple Music, Spotify, and everything like that too. But at the end of the day, we just appreciate all the followers and everybody who's been riding with us from the get-go. We're gonna continue to grow, and I'm excited because I have a lot more time now that I'm not with the football stuff. So it's what you guys said, KB?
And for y'all that listen to True Talk podcast, y'all listen to it once, go listen to it again with y'all heart. If you ain't listen to it, go listen to it.
Hey, because look, I ain't even want to bring this up.
A voice recording of you, so I can put it on my page.
If I
That's
look,
the open
I'll tell
act
you
right
now.
there.
Literally, I remember I hit Brie up and I was like, where you at? Like, and you ain't come out with nothing. And she was
That
like,
was the funniest thing
She
ever.
said, oh, so obviously you ain't listened to the last episode. I swear I listened to every episode except for the last one. But
That's
when I
how
was
I've
looking
gotten
through
so many people.
when I was looking through it, I was like, why she stopped? So I hit her up and I was like, where are you doing? She's like,
That was
obviously
so
you didn't
funny.
listen to the last episode. So and
This
then I listened to
random
it.
FaceTime. Where you been at? I'm like,
you
what?
good?
She's like, you haven't done a show in a minute. I said, did you listen to the
Obviously,
last?
you ain't listening.
Somebody
Exactly.
Did you even
listening.
read the post about the last one where I literally said I'll be back?
Yeah.
Like, I've had multiple people from December until now, and I laugh every time and I tell them about you calling me because they've done
Yep.
the same thing. Like, where have you been? I'm
At
like,
the same time, that is a good thing.
living.
That's still a
First
good
of
thing, though.
all, and
That is a
enjoying.
good thing, though.
It's a great thing.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I laugh every time, but I'm just like, I do this because I'm like, y'all didn't listen to the last one. I'm a little disappointed. Y'all didn't read the post even. I'm like, I tried to even make a post in case you didn't want to listen. That I will be back. I think with you guys having a podcast, anybody out there who has a podcast, reflect on the work. Like, reflect on what you've done. Give people a little bit of time to enjoy it. For me, there's so much content in season 1 and there's so much content to come in season 2 that I want people to have time to really enjoy it, and for me to reflect on it too, because if you just keep making content, you never get time to enjoy it, and it's a lot of work, and you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, again too, I take a break in the winter. Like, I am like an animal out in the wilderness. I hibernate all winter. I don't do much,
Andy
and then
Cheeks.
I just come back out in the spring, like nothing ever happened, better than ever. Like, so that's how I kind of rotated this whole thing. But people keep asking for season 2, but I'm like, y'all thought I was coming for y'all next in season 1. Y'all
I'm
gonna think
coming
I'm coming
with
for y'all
props
next
in season 2.
too.
It's over with.
It's like
Better
a
be ready.
sophomore album.
But
Good.
yes, if you've already listened to the season 1 of True Talk, if anybody, I don't know if any of your followers listen, but
Most of
go
them.
They
back and
better
listen.
should.
Yeah. So you better. Fuck wrong with you.
So, all right, her information to be down in the description down below. Like I said, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and staying with us, being patient about a lot of things too. And like I said, there's things to be coming in season 3, so we appreciate you guys.
We're going up.
Thank you guys for having me again.
Oh, no problem.